Well, I'm afraid that I watched Afraid. Jesus Christ. Yeah, pop open a cold one for this. Like, why do you guys make me go through this? Seriously, I mentioned at the end of my last video that I was moving. I have more important things to attend to than watching this shit. Yeah, so Afraid is the latest Blumhouse experiment here. Listen, Blumhouse has had hits and misses over the years. Megan was surprisingly a lot of fun. It was a really big box office success, all because of a TikTok. And I'm sure there's a few more that I'm forgetting here and there, but they've put out masterpieces like Get Out in the past. This year, their track record has not been all that great. First, in January, you had Night Swim, which unfortunately for me was not working for me as a feature-length movie. Then you had Imaginary, which was just dog shit. Afraid might be the worst out of all of them. We follow Curtis and his family, who are selected to test a revolutionary new device, a digital assistant called Aya. She's taking smart homes to the next level, what with the cameras that look like urinal cakes, and the actual device itself, which I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a really bad reimagining of the St. Louis Arch. As Aya begins to learn everyone's behavior and anticipate their needs, it soon makes sure nothing and no one gets in the family's way. This comes to you from writer-director Chris Weitz, who also brought you New Moon of the Twilight Saga. Yeah, that's kind of all you need to know, isn't it? You know you're in great hands when a guy who made a Twilight movie is giving you a scary movie, but... Oh, God. Okay, as far as positives go, God, you got me, guys. I can't really think of any. I can say that somehow Blumhouse put together a solid list of talent for this. John Cho from Searching, who I'm a huge fan of, plays Curtis. You have David Dastmalchian in here playing a smaller role. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, buddy? You are so bad in this movie. And freaking Katherine Waterston, where the hell has she been? Like, I really wish that all of these talent would find better movies than this to take part in. Because, oh boy, where do I start with this can of worms? Now, I have one question for you. If you go into a movie that claims that it's scary, you would expect to walk out a little bit unsettled, right? Well, I'm sitting here and wondering where in the absolute god are the scares. The one time that Blumhouse attempted a jump scare in this, the one time that Chris Weitz tried to strike fear in your hearts, it's a dream sequence, so it's not real. We have scary dreams all the time. What the is scary about that? And what's scary about an AI, which is absolutely a ripoff of Hell from 2001, and the movie is absolutely aware that it's ripping off 2001, which brings me into my next thing. The script for this movie, I thought it was bad when Tarot came out. This script might be worse than Tarot's. It's like they're trying to give these performers convincing stuff to say, but you can sense that they don't really think it's all that convincing. John Cho, I feel like, is sleepwalking through this thing. I don't think I've ever heard stupider dialogue come out of Katherine Waterston's mouth than this. Like, the whole crux of the arguments that she has with John Cho in this movie are basically John Cho sitting there saying, oh, we should turn this AI off. She's dangerous. And then Katherine Waterston's like, no, she's a friend to me. She's a friend to the kids. She's helping diagnose diseases. Like, literally, that's the crux of the argument. And there's also a small little storyline involving John Cho's character possibly having an affair. Absolutely goes nowhere. It's not needed. Speaking of storylines that go nowhere, the oldest daughter has a boyfriend who I think is probably the biggest asshole boyfriend character I've ever come across. And I hope that these kids are given better projects down the line than this. They were not very good in this, though. I'm sorry. I think it all falls on what they're saying and what they're written to say. And this AI doesn't even really kill people in this movie, per se. The deaths in this? No. The blood? Non-existent. It's PG-13. I feel like the most evil thing that this AI is doing to this family, specifically to the kids, making them sit through the Emoji Movie. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty damn evil. Who would want to subject their kids to that? And I'm sorry if I'm digging way too deep into spoilers for anybody who happened to want to see this movie if they saw the trailer like I did and were fascinated by the concept at least. But no, it's not worth it. You keep your money in your credit accounts, you keep your money in your wallets, you don't give it to this movie. So spoilers are bound to happen. And that brings me to the ending here, which, I'll be honest, makes absolutely no fucking sense. First of all, there's a couple that is brainwashed by this AI to try and kill our main family, who honestly are stupid enough where I'm like, look, I don't mind seeing these people die, and you shouldn't want that. But they're talking about a missing daughter, apparently, that was never brought up in the movie before this, and I'm like, huh? And then there's a subliminal message about how AI is here to help you, and then if you basically submit to their needs, they will always be there for you. Like these little urinal cakes they call cameras will be there for you. And I'm like, what? And the family actually submits to Aya. Like Aya is the leader of some weird cults that's going on here. It's like, what? Completely goes against what the movie was advertising. It's one of the biggest financial bait and switches I think I've ever seen in my life. Oh God. Yeah, so don't watch this movie. Yeah, there's better things to do with your life. Go watch Deadpool and Wolverine again. Hell, if it's still in theaters, go watch Inside Out 2 again. I hear that's the highest grossing animated movie of all time. Might as well widen that gap between that and the Lion King remake. So whatever you do, don't give your money to Afraid. This might be the worst movie I've seen so far this year. I know Imaginary was bad, but at least they have a cool enough looking climax and a setting for a climax that looks like it could be a haunted house at Horror Nights. And at least Tarot has some cool visual effects. And at least Night Swim is an effective short movie concept. Afraid absolutely has nothing going for it outside of some big name actors who are sleepwalking through a dreadful script. I'm afraid that this movie about AI and the dangers of AI is a national embarrassment. I'm gonna give Afraid a big fat F. I mean, what else was I gonna give it, right? Yeah. I don't know, guys. I've seen a lot of really bad horror movies this year. I don't know how it can get much worse than this one. Let me know what you thought of Afraid down in the comments section below. Did you somehow find some enjoyment out of this? I think that's the magic out of movies, right? I mean, one person's opinion can't be the same as everybody else's. Like, my views cannot be the correct scientific definition of what a movie is. It's all subjective after all. That's what makes discussion like this fun. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, or if you found some catharsis out of this video if you hated Afraid like I did. Hit that thumbs up as well if you're new. And as I mentioned, yeah, I have way more important things than watching Afraid to be doing. Yeah, like I said, I'm moving at the end of September, so this studio is going to look very different, and my content won't be as cranked out as it usually has been, but I'm going to take any opportunity I can to record for you guys when I have an opening. Like watching Beetlejuice 2 this weekend. I'm waiting to watch it with Lindsay so she doesn't slaughter me upon seeing me this weekend. Like legit, she told me I had to wait for her, so yeah, that's why that review is going to be a little bit late. But thank you again for tuning in, guys, and for your continued support. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, back talk commence.